Hello everyone, I'm Zenith and welcome back to Gardening Mindfully. Today I'd like to share with you another one of my very favorite houseplants, and that's the beloved Begonia. Now there are several stories out there as far as where the Begonia was discovered. There's one story that states that the Begonia was discovered in Brazil. There's yet another story that says it was discovered in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. We all know that begonias are grown extensively outside. There's also a very extensive list of begonias that are grown indoors as houseplants. Today, I would like to share with you the begonias that I'm currently growing in our home, how to care for them, and also the current issues that I'm having growing and maintaining my begonias. Here are a few close-up photographs. Begonias that are grown indoors as houseplants is quite extensive. And even though these beauties flower, they are a crowd favorite because of the foliage. Now look how beautiful this one is. This is a painted leaf begonia. Now look at the colors. Isn't that striking? Very pretty. Beautiful is not an appropriate word for these plants. Striking, show-stopping are more like it. Now you'll notice that this is a cane begonia because it's more upright, and you can hear the leaves are kind of rustling because I'm experiencing crispy leaves, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Awesome. Now here we have another cane begonia. This one is a polka dot. So this one, the color of the leaf on top is like an olive green with dots, and the other side, the underside, is more of a burgundy maroon. And again, they do flower. This one, I believe, flowers white, but I admire them because of the coloration of the leaves. Very unique. Here is another one. So this one is a Rex begonia, and it is called, this is an heirloom begonia. This has been around for centuries, and it's a great pass-along plant because actually this is a baby. I got this from just a small leaf cutting from a friend of mine, I think maybe in August, and it has grown tremendously. This is called a beefsteak begonia or a kidney begonia because of the shape of the leaves. Sometimes the leaves are more of a kidney shape. So this one is fairly close. And you'll see that the top of the leaf is kind of green, but it's a dark green, like a bronzy green. And the underside is more of a burgundy. Very beautiful, large, glossy green leaves, and they are very fast growing. This one is also, it's the same beefsteak, but this was a much smaller cutting, and I'll show you closer. You'll see it's a rhizome instead of a cane. Not sure if you can see that. See that rhizome? So with this, because the rhizome, the pot that it really should be growing in is a pot that's more wide than it is deep. So in a few months, I will transplant these into a different pot. So now let's talk about care and maintenance. As far as light, begonias prefer indirect light. Indirect light. Sometimes shade is best for begonias. What I know from experience is the darker the leaves, is the more indirect light or shade the begonia needs. See how glossy and beautiful these leaves are? These are getting a lot of indirect light. They're not getting bright light at all. And the lighter leaves can take more of the indirect light, so more light than the darker leaves. As far as water, begonias like to be moist, but never soggy. If it gets really soggy and the soil is waterlogged, then it will tend to rot the roots. So we never want to do that with our begonias. The soil should be well draining, again, because it doesn't like to sit in water. As far as fertilizing, begonias should be fertilized in the growing months, so not in the winter months. In the spring, summer months is the best time to fertilize your begonias. And as I said, they do flower. The flowers aren't bold or significant at all. They're really insignificant. And as far as propagating, begonias are one of those plants that make great pass-along plants. As I mentioned, these were beefsteaks, were small cuttings, really small cuttings. And in about 3 months, this is the growth that I got from my small cuttings. So they can be propagated from a leaf or from a cutting from the rhizome, which is just a thick stem. So see that rhizome there? It's more of a thick stem. So that's a Rex begonia, whereas the cane begonia is more upright. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm experiencing crispy leaves, crispy edges. So even though begonias are really easy to care and to maintain, it is tricky sometimes to keep them really happy. And the reason for that, there are actually 3 reasons, 3 main reasons. The first reason is over-watering. Again, begonias likes to be moist, but never soggy. If we overwater our begonia, the root will rot, the leaves can wilt, and it can also cause the leaves to get crispy. The second thing is underwatering. So lack of water is another issue that will cause the leaves to get crispy in a begonia. So what do you do, or how do you find out if your begonia is experiencing underwatering? One thing you can do is to just lift the pot. If the pot is light, then you know it's time to water. Another thing you can do is to just take your index finger and touch the top of the soil and maybe go down an inch or so. And if your finger comes back dry, then you know it is time to water. So the begonias likes to be moist and not dry or soggy. Another problem that we have with begonias is the lighting. So excessive light can cause crispy leaves. So again, indirect light, meaning east facing window in the morning, or a west facing window where it gets evening sun, or a south facing window in the winter months. So one of the things I do with my begonia, and the issue I'm having with this one is not overwatering, it's not underwatering, it's my lighting. It is getting too much light, and I'm aware of that. So I'll be moving this plant from its current location into a location where it's getting less light. Already have begonias in your house plant or indoor plant collection, please add one or two. You'll be glad that you did. Make sure to keep your begonias in a spot where you can enjoy the beautiful foliage, whether that's the polka dot, the painted leaf, or the beefsteak. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Gardening Mindfully. Thank you for watching.